Hey, Gary Guth here with bagpipelessons.net. You know, I love that tune. That's called Bains Lum, and that's a hornpipe. And you know, we haven't talked about hornpipes for a while, so why don't we talk about how to build Bains Lum? Okay, so the first thing that we should do with Bains Lum is to define the rhythm. You know, everybody's saying, hey, you can't memorize the tunes? Well, if you can't sing it, in my opinion, you're not going to be able to memorize it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create lyrics so that you can actually sing the song and define the rhythm. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take the camera right here and I'm going to move it down here like this so you can see the music. Okay, so Bains Lum is a hornpipe, and it's in 2/4 time. Now, if you're familiar with my rhythm program, you know, I didn't create 1-anda, 2-anda and stuff for 16th notes, or 1 and 2 and for 8th notes, but I found a way to use it with bagpipe music. My background, I'm a classical musician first, so I learned to count that way, and so I'm going to show you how to create lyrics in Bains Lum. Okay, so Bains Lum has some interesting things in it. I've got an 8th followed by a 32nd note followed by a dotted 16th. And you know, a lot of people looking at 2/4 marches and hornpipes and so forth, you know, kind of shy away from these because they say, oh, well, I don't know how to count it. Alright, so I'm going to show you something. If we take 2/4 time like this, what we're gonna do, since we only have enough syllables to accommodate 16th notes, 1-anda, 2-anda, 3-anda, 4-anda, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down. Instead of being in 2/4 time, we're going to define it in 4/8. So I'll just change the meter signature here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is in 4/8 time, I'm going to find all of the 8th notes. Okay, so here I go. So this is a pickup beat, so this is beat 4. Okay, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I'm doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. The number is always at the beginning of any barred figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm just going to do the first line here and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so if you go back to my rhythm pattern sheet, and if you're not familiar with my rhythm pattern sheet, you know, you could print it out. It's attached to this video. You could print that out, and that'll give you an idea. Okay, so I have a duple pattern right here. So because it's a dotted rhythm, and I'm counting 4-y and this is my first syllable is 4, and my second syllable is the last 16th in the string. So it's 4-y and so this is 4. This is 1, and then I have 2, which is a 32nd note followed by a dotted 16th. And so if I'm counting 2-y and this would be 2-y, and then I've got a dot followed by a cut, that's 3, 4-y, 1, 2, 3, 4-y, 1, 2-y. See what I'm doing? 3, 4-y, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell you what, let's just finish the first part. So here I'm putting in my 8th notes again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now this is an incomplete measure because we borrowed the pickup beat here, and of course the next part has its own pickup beat. Okay, so we have in this case we have 4 eighth note beats to the measure. Okay, so let's define this second part. So I've got 1, 2E, 3, 4E, 1, 2, 3, 4E, 1, 2E, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so one of the things I like to do with this is everything is about it's not what you say but how you say it. Have you ever heard that before? All right, so you can't say 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4E, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything if you say everything the same way. Okay, so it's about inflection. It's about how we say the music. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to take this is called a slur, and a slur in music indicates a phrase being connected. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 2 3 4E 1 2 3 4 4E. Let's see, we're going to go sorry, let's make this a little bit longer. 4E 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4E 1 2E 3 4 1 2 3. See what I did? Okay, so I'm going to connect all of these phrases together. So 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4E 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4E 1 2E 3 4 1 2 3. See what I did? Okay, so even if I was to say to you 1 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3 4 1 2E 3 4E 1 2 3. If you were to be able to say that before you even started playing this piece, then you'd have a pretty good idea of how it went, even if you never heard the melody before, right? So the first thing that I would do in developing this tune is I would take my pencil, and I've attached to this video. If you click the link, you're going to go to my blog page, where you're going to have all the tools for this. You can print this sheet out so that you can write on it and so forth. But what I would do with this is I would just like I did here, I would complete the other 3 parts. Okay, so that's your first assignment. We're building a new tune. The first thing that we should do is I call it like baking chocolate chip cookies. You know, building a tune is like baking chocolate chip cookies. So we're the first part of the dry ingredients is the flour, the baking soda, and the salt. So here we are. And that's the rhythm. So we're going to develop the rhythm first, okay? Because that's the thing that holds most people back. You know, bagpipe lessons aren't supposed to be taken for the rest of your life. The purpose of bagpipe lessons is to teach you how to become independent, so you can learn and develop your own music. Okay, so that's the first part of it. So that's the dry ingredients. Okay, so what we've done is you're going to complete the rest of the syllables in here. Practice, you know, take your pencil, connect the slurs from the So the is always the beginning of every musical phrase. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And the reason is you're going to have you have a little bit of a break between the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just, we want to be able to say all of these syllables with the right inflection. Okay, now here's what we do. Now we're going to do the wet ingredients. So I'm going to put my camera back up, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. Okay, so here, I'll put my camera back up here. All right, so here's our wet ingredients. You're looking at the music. Okay, so let's just say that if you took all the dots and the cuts out of this piece, what you're going to see, the most used note value in this piece is the 16th note. Okay, so if I take all of those out, so instead of counting 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna take all the dots and the cuts out, and now I'm going 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and see what I'm doing? You know, so the quarter note we'll get 4/16 beats. So we're going to count this in 8/16. Okay, so if we count it in 8/16, this is the wet ingredients. This is the butter, the eggs, the sugar, the brown sugar, and the vanilla. Okay, so we're baking the chocolate chip cookies, right? Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. We're counting in 8/16. Why? Because it controls the speed of how we play this, okay? And we're taking the dots and the cuts out of it temporarily because, you know, the best place to develop technique, in my humble opinion, is in the tunes. You know, if you never play any hard tunes, if you're playing, you know, if you're going to play the Minstrel Boy for the rest of your life, you know, that's fine. That's a good tune. I love the Minstrel Boy. But if you want to become better playing technique, then you need to challenge yourself. And hornpipes and 2/4 marches and Strasbass and reels and things like that, those are good tunes to develop technique. Okay, so here's how we do this. Okay, so I'm tapping. My 16th notes are getting, I'm in 8/16, so my 16th notes are getting one beat like this. Hear my beat? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm walking in place like that. Okay, you should practice doing this. Why? Because you need to develop a sense of rhythm. You know what? When you're taking a walk or someplace like that, you know what you should practice doing is singing the tunes that you know to the beat, to your walking pace. You know, being a musician is a lifestyle. It's not just something you do, you know, for a couple hours a week. It's something, you know, you're always a musician. You're always thinking, I don't know, I'm crazy, I guess, because I've always got a tune in my head and something going on musically. Okay, so anyway, I take my chanter, and here, and I'm going to do the first part of this piece. And what I like about Tam Bains Lum is that there's some interesting things in it. You know, like for instance, I got the D doubling with a C strike at. Well, I like that. That's a nice movement. And then there's another one in here where you're playing it on C, but you're playing like a D doubling in C position. You're playing a G grace note and an E grace note followed by a low G strike. Okay, now if I'm playing this to the 16th note, all of those little things are going to be 4 and Okay, so that G grace note on the D is beat 4 is the G grace note on the D. Okay, so it's going to be, so I'm going to play it like this. Watch. Now, what I would do, if I were you, is I would learn to play the whole tune like that. Okay, that's the first step that I would do in playing this tune, is I would learn it in 8/16. And by me doing that, I'm playing slow enough so that I can open all of those doublings. You know, I can open all the doublings. Okay, the G grace note of the doubling, and the first syllable of the doubling is what lands on the beat. Okay, so you start with that first. Okay, so I would do that. I would play that for a while. Okay, it's a technical exercise. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do in 8/16 is you're going to go and add all those dots and the cuts back in. See, now you can play it okay. You know, you're familiar with the movements and so forth. So now you're going to add the dots and the cuts, and it's going to sound like this. See what I did? So I'm playing it in 8/16 with a rhythm. Okay, when I can do that without any problems, then I'm going to move it up to the next level. Okay, which is 4/8. So now I'm tapping the 8th note. That's in 4/8. Okay, and then finally, you know, practice it in 4/8 for a while. Okay, and then finally, when you're ready, then it goes into 2/4, and it'll sound like this. Let's try it again. See what I did? So it's a progression in building the tune. Now, you know, you probably, if you played it a whole bunch of times at 8/16 with the dots and the cuts, and 4/8, now you're finally playing it in 2/4, hey, you probably have a good idea how the melody goes. Okay, so what you need to do now is you need to practice singing it. For a 1, 2, E, 3, a 4, E, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, E, 1, 2, E, 3, a 4, E, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, 2, E, 3, a 4, E, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, E, 1, a 2, E, 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3. Check out my song with my lyrics. Okay, so if you can sing it like that, okay, the question now is, how do you memorize it? Okay, well, if you can sing it, you have 3/4 of the job done. Okay, now what you do is you pick up your chanter, And you go like this. 4 a 1 2 e 3 a 4 e 1 a 2 a 3 a 4 e 1 2 e 3 a 4 e 1 a 2 a 3 a 4 a 1 2 e 3 a 4 e 1 a 2 a 3 a 4 e 1 a 2 e 3 a 4 a 1 a 2 a 3. So what I'm doing, I'm associating the melody in my head with the fingers in my hands, and I could be looking at the music while I'm doing this association. Okay, you know, I've been playing a long time. I don't think when I'm standing there playing at somebody's wedding or somebody's golf outing or something like that, I don't see the music on a cloud. I mean, I've never seen it, but I got the song in my head. I got the song going in my head like a track. And you know what? Over a period of time, I've associated the fingering with the songs in my head. Okay, there you go. This is Tam Bains' Lum. This is a great tune. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any questions about this, please feel free and call me on the phone. You can email me. Hey, I'll answer your call. I like talking to people. So if you have a great day, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Good day.